Welcome back. Today we're diving into Make Your Bed. And listen, Make Your Bed is absolutely not about beds. Make Your Bed isn't about having a neat little room. Make Your Bed is about one thing: command. William H. McRaven wrote this book from a world where tiny errors compound incredibly fast. So right off the bat, we need to get this straight. William H. McRaven isn't selling you domestic tidiness here. He is establishing a core mechanism of command.
Look, your morning is not messy. It's actually a tiny surrender completely dressed up as freedom. You know the feeling, right? You wake up, the room is already spoken, the bed's open, your phone is glaring at you, and your mind just starts trading away its leverage. But here's the thing, your morning habit is a biological default under stress. It's not a character flaw. It is literally just your biology trying to save effort before the real threat of the day becomes clear. You aren't unstructured because you're weak. You're unstructured because you're human, and you're alive.
Section 1. The Diagnostic First Command. Let's look at why dealing with that first square of cloth in the morning isn't just a chore, but an actual diagnostic test of your nervous system. So, what exactly is the first command? Well, it's that initial mechanism that dictates your nervous system's operational state before the day even begins negotiating with you. Now, I know you're a highly capable person, and highly capable people, well, we often skip this test. Why? Because a simple, unmade bed gives us no prestigious crisis to solve. You might feel like, hey, this task is way too small, it doesn't match my intellect or my capacity. The reality is, our minds want a worthy battlefield. Your ego is constantly looking for a bigger, better opponent, because a crisis makes you feel important. A bed, it gives you absolutely no such luxury. And that's the brilliance of this book. It intentionally insults that complexity by making the opponent incredibly small. The hard part here isn't folding the cloth. The hard part is accepting a test that has literally zero drama attached to it.
Section 2. Your prestigious alibi. We need to completely dismantle this super common, false belief we hold on to. The idea that the big move changes my life and tiny order is just cosmetics.
This prestigious alibi tells you that you're just saving your best energy for the big move. You know, the work that really matters. It protects your ambition, whispering that your real self is just waiting for the right mission. I wish this weren't true, but look at where it leads. The biological reality is that your nervous system's mechanism is sequential, not moral. Your physical state chooses your posture, and that posture narrows your choices. So if you think small acts don't count, you're actually starting your day with a private defeat.
Make your bed. It's such a tiny micro fragment of a sentence, right? But it delivers a massive reality slap. Think about it. If you let your mood manage your very first act of the day, the rest of your day has to fight a two-front war. It's fighting both the tasks ahead and your own state of mind. You wanted to wait for a bigger stage, but by doing that, you just handed your mood the keys to your morning.
You wanted freedom from a small demand. But what did you buy? You bought dependence on mood. This tiny trade-off trains your helplessness to look sophisticated. It gives your disorder a prestigious alibi. When you delay that first clear act, suddenly every large choice in your day is arriving inside a body that's already leaning away from discipline.
Section 3. Membrane under pressure. Now we're moving from the diagnostic side of your morning into the deep physical reality of how your body actually handles pressure. Think about a biological cell membrane. It absolutely needs a firm boundary to prevent leakage. Without that boundary, external pressure doesn't become strength, it just becomes a leak. Or picture a cello string at maximum tension. A loose string, it has no song. It literally needs tension to sing. Both of these analogies brilliantly illustrate how constraint actually creates shape. Too much freedom entirely erases your form.
And this brings us to your biological default. It's the evolutionary tendency of an unstructured nervous system to seek immediate relief, to delay action when ambiguity or stress is running high. I really want to emphasize this. Needing structure does not mean you are weak. Your biology simply craves a default when it's under a heavy load. It won't hold a stance of command open all day long. It wants a boundary the self can actually feel.
Life isn't fair. This quote grounds us right in the central paradox of this book. Let's be real. The act of making a bed is far too small to save you from actual chaos. It's not going to fix grief or financial ruin or illness. Yet, at the same time, it is way too revealing of your true baseline to just ignore. It is a clean, simple refusal to let your day begin by voting against yourself. Section 4, Mercy versus Command. Because we have to acknowledge that the real world brings real chaos. Bills are real, grief is real, and our bodies do fail. We all face very real, hard limits.
massive sleep debt, caregiving duties, illness, brutal shift work. And I want to be perfectly clear about this. This book does not ask you to blindly copy a military morning inside a fragile life. If illness or danger changes your reality, the proof has to change right along with it. The habit must scale to your actual life, not be performed as some sort of empty costume.
So, we hit this deep dilemma between caring for yourself and completely collapsing. One side asks for mercy for a tired person. The other side asks for command, just so exhaustion doesn't rename surrender as honesty. Look, shrinking the task, that is mercy. But skipping the proof entirely, that's surrender. On a bad day, a single sock put in a drawer can be the proof. A single cup washed in the sink can be the proof. The body fundamentally understands completion.
Here is a highly effective tool straight from the text: strategic delay. Listen, before you go to sleep tonight, you must kill your fantasy morning. Step 1. Choose the very first controllable act. Step 2. Set your kill criteria. Step 3. If the act takes more than 2 minutes, or if it requires even an ounce of motivation, shrink it. You have to decide your minimum proof while you are calm, long before the morning pressure even arrives.
Now, a quick warning. If you attempt to use real-time state signals as your decision tool, listen to me closely. Requires deep domain expertise. Expert only. Using your intuition as a real-time pattern signal is for veteran operators who have built a massive pattern library over years of deliberate practice. For most of us, trying to improvise a brand new identity every single morning is a complete trap. You must return to the pre-selected act.
Which small act do you keep calling too small?
Section 5. Order before permission. We're shifting now from the diagnostic breakdown of your morning routine to the ultimate philosophical resolution of how a person is actually built.
The physical proof requires some very specific things. It needs visible completion, and it needs binary results. Either it's done or it isn't. And there is zero audience applause. Letting this act be beneath your grand ambition is actually highly useful. Why? Because it actively humiliates and kills the fantasy self, the version of you that's just sitting around waiting for a grand stage. By doing that, it allows your practice self to step up and just do one clean thing, totally in private, where nobody is clapping.
Never quit. We bring the narrative arc home here because a person is built by their very first clean vote, long before the world ever grants them permission to be great. It's about changing the order of command. Before you check your phone, one loop is closed. Before your mood can dictate the terms, one vote lands.
Order begins before permission. Your agency returns to your life the exact moment you stop hiding from the smallest visible proof. You don't need a perfectly optimized schedule. You just need one completed signal that your body simply cannot debate.
Access your growth map. Name the constraint you invented, drop it.